From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, February the 15th, 2023. Israel's President Isaac Herzog held meetings yesterday with officials for and opposed to the planned judicial reforms by the Israeli government to discuss his 5-point plan presented to the Israeli public earlier this week in order to find compromise on the highly contentious issue. Herzog met separately with Chairman of the Knesset's Constitution, Law and Justice Committee, Simcha Rothman, with former Prime Minister and opposition leader Yair Lapid, and with former Defense Minister Benny Gantz, who said of the president afterwards his concern for the growing rift in the nation and the strength of Israeli democracy is evident, and his action is extremely important at this time. Lapid wrote afterwards, "We all need to give the president a chance to lead a proper, transparent, and professional process, at the end of which we will have a more efficient governmental system, a better separation of powers, and above all, we will continue to be one nation." Today, the Times of Israel reported that plans to vote on some key pieces of legislation about the judicial reforms was postponed, hinting at a possible shift. But Rothman, as well as Justice Minister Yariv Levin, were also cited by the Times of Israel, saying the delayed bills were privately filed and the legislation of the judicial reform is continuing without pause. Lapid later today asked for a 60-day halt in legislation, a waiting period, in order to enable dialogue between the sides. The Biden administration withdrew the candidacy of James Cavallaro to serve as an independent member of the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights after comments he made against Israel came to light in a report by the Algemeiner on Monday, which said Cavallaro had accused U.S. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries of being, quote, bought, purchased, controlled by pro-Israel groups, and had called Israel in now deleted tweets an apartheid state, among other comments. When asked about the withdrawal of candidacy in a press conference yesterday, State Department spokesman Ned Price said of Cavallaro, his statements clearly do not reflect U.S. policy. They are not a reflection of what we believe, and they are inappropriate, to say the least. The president of the Community of Madrid, Isabel Diaz Ayuso, was in Israel this week, reaffirming the city's friendship and ties to the Jewish state. This comes just days after Barcelona Mayor Ada Colau announced that that city was suspending ties with Israel and sister city Tel Aviv, accusing Israel of violating Palestinian human rights. Soon after that announcement, the mayor of Madrid, Jose Luis Martinez Almeida, accused Colau of antisemitism and said that his city would welcome taking up the twinning partnership. And on Monday, Ayuso visited Israel, where she went to the Kotel, the Western Wall, and Yad Vashem, and met with President Herzog, saying Israel will always find its home in Madrid. We are a region open to the world, to everyone. Well, New York Fashion Week is always an exciting time, seeing innovative styles come down the runway. But this past Friday's show was also dramatic for another reason. When 22-year-old Jewish model Lily Brash became the first model with muscular dystrophy to walk down the runway. She is the second person to appear in Fashion Week with muscular dystrophy. The first was Jillian Mercado in 2020, who was in a wheelchair. Brash is a disability activist and an observant Jew, and she had to make special plans to enable her to walk the runway at 5 p.m. Friday and then stay at a nearby hotel in order to keep Shabbat. She told the Jewish Week, "I prioritize representing disability and pride and just bringing joy to that community, but I also prioritize remaining truthful to my faith. It was great teamwork," she said, "to get me on the stage and represent disability and then come right off to go celebrate Shabbat." Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, February the 15th at 7 o'clock. It's Talmud Study. At 7:30, Dani Menkin talks about his film Aulcie, about Aulcie Perry, who led Maccabi Tel Aviv to its first European championship. At 8, Robert Siegel asks panelists Mark Oppenheimer, Dara Horn, and Rabbi David Sandmel why anti-Semitism is on the rise and what can be done about it. At 9, it's Palestinian Media Watch founder Itamar Marcus on L'chaim. At 10, Hussein Aboubakr talks about his journey of imprisonment in Egypt to asylum in the U.S. And coming up next, it's Thinking Out Loud. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, February the 15th, 2023. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.